Sponsored by DraftKings. Play free fantasy football for the big game for your shot at the $1 million top prize. Welcome back to First Things First. Undisputed coming up at 9:30 sharp. Jenny Taft, good morning. Any shot you guys are going to discuss the Super Bowl in any way on today's show?
You know, a few things to talk about, Jetto. It is finally Super Bowl weekend. Oh, so excited. Skip and Shannon will make their picks coming up next on Undisputed. And then LeBron, you know, he's back. Are the Lakers about to go on a winning streak with the King? Plus, we have Jamal Adams and Eric Dickerson. They're going to join us live from Atlanta. So much to get to. Packed show, Undisputed, coming up next. Hope you guys have a great weekend.
All right, Jenny, thanks to you, too. Time for us to go viral. Super Bowl week is a media circus for the players every year. Check out this moment that happened with Tom Brady at the mic.
No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the Super Bowl. Thank you, Tom.
Wonderful, thank you.
What did he say?
He said, was singing "We Are the Champions."
I got that.
He said thank you, and then they said they thanked each other. And
that was an awkward moment for Tom Brady.
It was awkward for me watching.
Just slightly.
That was like one of those moments where you cringe like on the inside,
watching,
even though.
That's how I feel like watching figure skating. You watch what you don't really watch.
You know what it
because
was
you're
like? It's
terrified
like
you're
watching
gonna fall.
Nick and CC try to explain why being thick is a good thing.
Oh.
That's what it's like watching.
Oh, okay.
That's what it's like watching.
Okay, that's true.
Listen, this is a great example. If you watch, some of the jokes we make on the show are called back to days earlier. So you watch more often, you get that joke Canty made, which was an outstanding one. No, let's just get to the Super Bowl.
Let's just get to the Super Bowl. Sticking with Tom Brady and the Patriots, trying to win their 6th Super Bowl this century, while Jared Goff and the Rams will try to win the team's first Super Bowl in Los Angeles. A matchup between the greatest coach of all time in Bill Belichick and a young and up-and-coming Sean McVay. So what will the moment be like come Sunday? Here's Tom Brady.
You want to play for those rings. That's what being a competitor is all about.
The magnitude of this game, it's a blessing to be here. Our players and coaches have earned the right to be here.
They've had a great year, and I have a ton of respect for what they've done, the way they've done it, and we're going to go out there and do our best to compete against it.
This is the big dance, you know, playing great football all year, but this is the last one. You know, you got to play your best football. This is the biggest stage, you know, the biggest stage I ever played on. So we just got to keep playing football at a high level. Don't forget what got us here, but, you know, leave everything out there one more time. You know, one more game, and opportunity to be a world champion.
All right, Chris Canty, here we go. Who wins on Sunday and why?
I'm going with the New England Patriots, and I know we spent a lot of time talking about the Rams and their path to victory and what they have to do on the offensive side of the ball. But, of course, if you're going against a Tom Brady-led offense, your defense is going to have to get pressure on Tom Brady. Now, here's the thing. Everybody's been saying that the Rams are equipped to do that because they have Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh. But if you look at the guard center guard trio for the New England Patriots, they're one of the best trios in football. There's no other trio that has all three interior linemen graded out in the top 15 in pass blocking. So those guys do a pretty good job of providing a firm pocket for Tom Brady to step up in away from edge pressure. You got to know that Bill Belichick is going to have a plan to try to neutralize Aaron Donald. So it's going to be on the others, Ndamukong Suh, Dante Fowler, to be able to apply some pressure on Tom Brady. You can't blitz Tom Brady. We've seen it in Super Bowls. The teams that blitz Tom Brady, they usually lose those games. In their 5 Super Bowl wins, teams that have tried to blitz Tom Brady 25% of the time, that's the average of pressure when they try to blitz him in the games, they've ended up on the losing end of it. So I think it's a situation where you got to rush Tom with 4, and then you got to depend on the guys on the back end to be able to cover him up, give some extra time for those defensive linemen to get pressure on Tom. That's the only way that this works in terms of Wade Phillips and that defense being able to slow down that Pats offense.
So I agree with your analysis on how to slow down the Pats offense. I just disagree with you that the Rams won't be able to do exactly what you're talking about. And I think these days you can blitz Tom Brady a little bit more than you were able to in the past. There was from 07 to 2016, Tom Brady, when you said a heavy blitz at him, had a near perfect quarterback rating. That's not just in the playoffs. Football Outsiders had that stat a couple years ago. It was remarkable. It was like 70 touchdowns, 1 pick. He was perfect when you sent a lot of extra bodies. The last couple years, that has not been the case. Additionally, I don't know that the Rams have to repeatedly blitz Tom Brady because they do have Aaron Donald. I understand that the Patriots will scheme to slow down Aaron Donald as much as they can, but every team that's played the Rams this year has schemed to slow down Aaron Donald. And he finished the season with 20.5 sacks. What he didn't have going for him throughout the regular season, but has in the playoffs, is a fully locked in and motivated Ndamukong Suh. What we've seen these last 2 weeks in the playoffs has been the Suh I think the Rams thought maybe they were going to be getting all year long. Bill Barnwell did a great job of laying this out. The Seahawks Super Bowl, when the Seahawks were up 24-14, they were up 24-14 until Cliff Averill went out with the concussion. From that moment forward, Brady, 15 of 19, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. Once the Seahawks lost the ability to pressure him, they got obliterated. The Broncos lost for the Patriots in the AFC Championship game, knocked Tom Brady down 17 times. And the Falcons Super Bowl flipped when they stopped getting pressure on Tom Brady. I think Grady Jarrett had 3 early sacks in that game. And last year's Super Bowl, one of the reasons Tom Brady threw for 500 yards was that Eagles front 4 could never get home until the one time they did. The one sack was the strip sack that essentially ended the game. I think Wade Phillips is going to be able to trust Talib and Peters to be on islands, on individual plays, to play a press man-to-man when they need to, and they can send extra bodies occasionally. But I also think, to your point on the guard center guard stuff, I think Chris Carter made this point earlier in the week, and I think he's right. I think Ndamukong Suh is going to play some left defensive end. I think they're not going to always have those guys next to each other, and you're going to allow those guys to be able to have a person in between them, so it's harder to double them both. So for all those reasons, I do think the Rams will be able to get pressure on Brady. If you get pressure on Brady, which the Chargers couldn't do, the Chiefs couldn't do, he hasn't been sacked once this postseason, that's been the key to slowing down the Patriots offense.
Just to push back a little bit on you with the pressure and Aaron Donald, yeah, he's faced a lot of double teams, and he usually finds a way to be able to beat those double teams and still apply effective pressure to quarterbacks. But one of the things that makes Tom Brady so great is him being able to get the ball out of his hands. That's why we say you really can't blitz Tom Brady. Those pass rushers for the Los Angeles Rams, they're going to have to be patient in their approach. They're not going to get a lot of opportunities early to sack Tom Brady.
Sure.
So they're going to have to continue to stay with the rush and not get frustrated. Aaron Donald talked about that earlier in the week. I think that's important to remember because, listen, nobody gets the ball out of their hands faster than Tom Brady. I mean, 2.5 seconds is all he needs to be able to diagnose the defense and know where to go with the football. And so I think that you're putting a lot on the Los Angeles Rams defensive line. You're giving them a lot of credit for something that we haven't seen them do yet, which is continuing to be patient when they haven't been effective getting pressure on the quarterback early.
And listen, I should have said the actual score. My apologies. 27-23 is my pick for the game on the Rams side of the ledger. Go ahead, Jen.
All right, tell me about the last 24, 48 hours now. What is Bill Belichick and Sean McVay going to do to get both of these guys, both of these teams in positions to play their best football come Sunday?
Well, from a physical workload, the hay is in the barn. Like everything now is just mentally, just making sure you sharpen everything up, just trying to get your players to visualize them having success in that game. Right now, the coaches are doing everything that they can to try to instill a level of confidence in these guys. For Sean McVay, it's probably going to be a little bit harder just because a lot of guys on that team haven't been on this stage. I think they only have 4 guys that have Super Bowl experience. And so I think that Sean McVay has got a lot of work to do in terms of making sure his team is in the right mindset going into this game. As far as the Patriots are concerned, it's business as usual. Just make sure all of those guys are comfortable with the schedule that's going to lead up to them getting into that locker room for the big game. But yeah, I think a lot of this is the coaches just making sure the guys have the right mindset.
It's helpful if nobody gets arrested a couple nights before. We
don't need a Eugene Robinson situation.
Or we don't need anyone absconding to Mexico and being MIA. Like we don't need that either. But we've talked all week breaking down this football game. I want to talk about the big picture just for a moment. The Philadelphia Eagles won a Super Bowl last year by deciding in the offseason and into this regular season, we are not going to worry about 3 years from now, 4 years from now. We think we have a window. We are going to try to exert our influence right now and win a Super Bowl right now. And they were able to do it. Now, they're going to have to pay that bill at some point, but they're champions. The Los Angeles Rams took that approach and put it to 100. They went out and got Talib, Peters, Suh, traded with New England for Cooks, not worrying about future draft picks. During the season, they traded more draft picks to get Dante Fowler in there. If that approach is successful in consecutive years, there's a lot of people going to be watching this game whose team might be close but not quite there, whose management might say, you know what? That's what we need to be worrying about. Instead of the next 5 years, let's worry about the next 5 months. It's a copycat league, and if in back-to-back years teams microwave their way to a Super Bowl, I think you're going to see a lot of other teams trying to do that. That would be exciting for me. That is reason in and of itself to be pulling for the Rams this weekend.
Chris Canty, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Much appreciated. I will see you at your place on Sunday. I'll be there. Enjoy the weekend, everyone. See you on Monday.